that is not how people in Washington think. They think that you guys are just out of touch with how things actually work. If you could be a little bit more grown up about it, guys, and stop insisting on silly things like people reading bills they're voting on, everything would be cool. But more people have realized than ever that this is a problem. The way things work is a problem. And I have to thank Barack Obama for opening up that process for us, for overreaching so much that people got so angry that they put the brakes on it and said, well, if you're going to pass this, you're at least going to take, oh, I don't know, the next 9 months of us yelling at you to do it. And that is what has made people fired up. That's what made the grassroots mad, justifiably in many cases. And that is what's going to lead to a wave election 2 years after Barack Obama was supposed to have made Colorado, North Carolina, Virginia blue forever and ever, amen. Right? My, how times have changed. But I think moving forward, it is our duty to make sure that people continue to watch Days of Our Lives. Our solemn duty. It is easy to get frustrated. I think you've seen it with the young people, sometimes affectionately called Obama bots, that went to the polls for him in 2008. The poll that I was referencing earlier today actually came out today. This is a poll of likely voters in battleground districts, 10 House districts. Young people under 34. Young people, 63% of them under 34 in these competitive districts thinks there's been no change under Obama or he's changed things for the worse. 63% of likely voter young voters.
Wow. Yes.
Like, it's pretty incredible. A couple other figures from the poll: 41% think that things have changed for the worse. 30% believe there's no change. I don't know where those guys have been. 26%, only 26% believe he actually decided to change how Washington works. I don't know who they are either, but at any rate. But our opportunity with folks like that, with women especially too, where you see a lot of polls where women who are concerned about economic issues in a way that they haven't been in a long time, who take care of the finances in their houses, who actually know how to balance a checkbook, and would like to convey that message to Washington, or even give classes in it if necessary. Those people are taking a look at how government works and saying, I had no idea things were this out of hand. And that's our opening. Because I have always believed in the mainstream sort of press and the way we're covered, we're radicals. But if you actually start thinking about it, we're like the most reasonable radicals on earth. For instance, suggesting that maybe the trillion or billions in stimulus funds that went to various states could be used to shore up and take care of debt, as opposed to being spent on these shovel-ready projects, which we later found out don't exist. Oops. These are not unreasonable ideas. In fact, in order to argue to me that you can't cut anything from the federal budget, that you guys can't have the extension of the current tax code, the Bush tax cuts in place during a recession because, there's just not enough money. We got this whole deficit thing to deal with. You're telling me, every liberal who tells you that is essentially telling you that the federal government is running at its superb capacity and it's just streamlined and efficient in every way. And there is nothing in there that could possibly be taken out to pay for these ludicrous tax cuts, also known as the money that you guys earned. It's like, I always used to say my father, it's like my allowance in high school. Had my father given me my allowance and I had gone out and spent it on violins and, I don't know, Skoll. And I came home and I was like, Daddy, I'm gonna need some more money because I gotta go to the beach this weekend and there's Bojangles to buy and beer that I need. And he would say, well, honey, you spent all your money on violins in school and you don't play violin or dip. And I'd say, well, Dad, it was there. Somebody needed it. Somebody needed to spend that money. In fact, I'm going to redistribute my skull and violins to everyone, all of my friends who will appreciate it. Why would he give me more money in that situation? Why is he going to fund my trip to the beach? I mean, it's so ludicrous, this argument. And I don't tell you that so you can tell your liberal friends that they're ludicrous, although you can. It's alliteration. But to give you confidence that you are reasonable people, you are good people going out and asking your government to do the very bare minimum of knowing what they're voting on, spending the third of your income that you are forced to send to them in a wise way before they come back to you and ask for more. It's not crazy. No matter how many times Chris Matthews tells you it's crazy, it's not crazy. It's perfectly reasonable, and the country in general, independents in particular, and even women and young people who are supposed to be these devout liberals are beginning to realize that. And we have to make them ours. And I've always said, women and young people and black voters and Hispanic voters, we don't have to make them committed Republicans. All we have to do is get them to independent and then make an argument that will make them swing sometimes. And that's more valuable for them as voters. Who are the most valuable voters in the nation? Who are the most listened to? Swing voters. Why do you want to be a Democrat, dyed-in-the-wool, forever and ever, amen, every single election? Your group of voters is not going to get the attention and be as important as you might wish they could be. So make yourself valuable. Listen to both sides. If you value your independence, be independent. Be willing to come over occasionally. I think that's an argument we can make, and I think it's one that's much more palatable than it has been in recent years, thanks to one Barack Obama. So I don't know if we want to do questions or not. I didn't know what the format was, so I'm gonna wrap it up there and say rock on for the next 2 weeks. It's gonna be very busy. It's gonna be very fun. I think the news on election night is gonna be very good for conservatives, electorally and ideologically. So I'm excited about it, and I appreciate you guys being here and for all the work that you do on all the issues you work on here in Colorado.